Welcome to Laugh and Learn, where curiosity leads and laughter lifts. I'm Gerald, joined by Timy Raven, Linda de Gonzalez, and Maru. Today we are exploring Duality Pair number 6, Strength and the Hanged Man, the courage to act, the wisdom to surrender, and the balance that lives between. I am grateful that you all are joining me. I have to do this because it is me. There we go. It's a Laugh and Learn Duality Pairs. What did I undo those? Okay. Oh, you were doing it just so that we could anyhow.
Yeah.
Raven Tarot meditation. Link is in the description. Make sure you go over and subscribe. Show some support.
Go to the playlist.
Yes, Madame Maru's House of Cards, who has randomly started to do pop-ups. You got to love that. This is a good thing.
Yeah.
Yes. It's my gingerbread man act.
It's your gingerbread man act?
Yeah. Run as fast as you can. You can't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man.
Oh.
Oh.
That's an old hit song from 50 years ago for me.
Wow. We have Linda de Gonzalez, who is willing to do weird things late at night, that and sometimes includes farts.
Listen, it's only late at night in your world. In my world, it's just after supper.
Okay. I hear you. I hear you.
What better time for flatulence?
Precisely.
I am TarotStache. Thank you. All of our links are in the description below. We appreciate you being here for this really engaging, ongoing conversation. Nancy, A Crone's Intuition, is here. Hello, Nancy.
Hi.
I hope you are doing remarkably well and healing. We also have, is that
Pia?
PAB.
Yes.
PAB 1068.
But yes.
I don't know.
But I can't remember the real name.
Pia.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Pia.
Hi, Pia.
Beth is here. Hello. Thank you for being here. Like and subscribe. It's there. We also, this is for entertainment purposes only, do not make decisions based upon what we say. Seek professional assistance. Really. Nancy did say she's slowly feeling better. Good.
That's good.
Very good. So, Timy, let's start with a review. No, I'm kidding.
I wanted to have a review, but Gerald says no. So we're going to do it the way Gerald wants to do it.
That's right. As should everything be.
Yeah, he's a boss. Gerald puts this all together, and that's a lot of work. So I give you credit, Gerald. Thank you for coordinating.
I'm glad to be able to do it. I also am looking forward to talking about the 6th duality, which is motivations. With that in mind, I want to encourage everybody to listen to me as I say, as I find this, which is active versus passive motivation. Strength acts with intention and resilience. The hanged man surrenders and observes. Together, they form a dialect of willpower and surrender, echoing the hero's journey inward and outward. I think that's fascinating.
Yeah, all of the duality pairs are fascinating. And this is the one past the halfway point, the world of manifestation.
Yes. And by the way, Beth said we only have an hour, so no reviews allowed.
See, now Beth and Gerald are ganging up.
Conspiring.
Yes.
They're taking control.
Yeah.
Chris Elemental Cartomancy has joined us. Hello.
Hey, Chris.
Pamela Batchelor is here. Everyone and the Fab Four.
Is that us?
I'm
the Fab
thinking.
Four?
I mean,
I want a uniform or a costume, cool helmet.
I'm wearing my uniform.
You know what? I was thinking yesterday that I want to get a mask and declare myself Duality Girl.
Yeah.
I am writing that
Perfect.
down. Duality Girl. That's fun.
Now there's a YouTube channel. Did you catch Duality Girl last night? She did a pop-up at 11 p.m. It was insane. Duality Girl.
Yeah.
Blows my mind.
Yeah. Chris, you are seeing, Barbara's here. Chris, you are seeing numbers after everyone's name. YouTube has done something odd with the names.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's just crazy.
We're doing it. It's a spiritual act. We're adding numbers after everybody's name.
Well, and I'll be honest, the reason we're doing
it right now.
Yeah, the reason we're doing it is this.
Today's video is brought to you by the word Schadenfreude. Everyone say it with me. Schadenfreude. Schadenfreude. Enjoyment obtained from the troubles of others. Do you experience Schadenfreude when I have to figure out a way to include today's word into asking you to like, share, and subscribe? Schadenfreude.
Thank you, Gerald.
Nice vocabulary word.
Thank you. It is a great deal of pleasure for me to watch people backstage giggling about this. I was just like, good, awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is really amazing as we talk about the duality pairs, we are at pair 6. Do you want the tree of life or the image first? This.
Let's do the tree of life first. That's fun place to start. All right. So here is a modern tree of life based upon the older tree of life, the Hermetic tree of life. And I've made it a little easier to read, and it has a little more relevance to the duality interpretation. So we start at you are here, and then there are 10 dualities. The first one is receptive energy. We've done that one. Then there's expressive energy is the second duality. Then the third one is relationships, which is the big ones in the middle. The fourth one is boundaries. The fifth one is down at the bottom, the world of manifestation. And now we're at the sixth one, which is at the sort of top middle left, motivations. And this is one of the big ones. Relationships, boundaries, motivations, and decisions are the four dualities that are very prevalent in our lives, especially, middle-aged people who are, being productive every day. It's just a constant barrage of this is where all the action is. So today we're talking about motivations, and maybe we can put the motivation slide up with
of course,
the explanation.
There we go.
All right. So the sixth duality is motivations. Motivation arises from both active and passive forces in our lives. Strength embodies active motivation through courage and determination, and the hanged man represents passive motivation through surrender and perspective shifts. Both outward exertion and inward acceptance can drive powerful motivations, and these cards symbolize those two that duality extreme, one extreme and the other. Strength is, forge ahead, damn the torpedoes, and the hanged man is the let's wait another day and see what happens kind of energy. And these are the two extremes of the duality of motivations. And the suggestion is that what you want to do is you want to ride at the balance point in between these two motivations. You want to have plenty of strength and plenty of get up and go to get things done when they need to be done. But you also need to be aware that sometimes forging ahead blindly with blind strength is the wrong thing to do. Sometimes the best thing to do is hang back, observe, maybe wait until tomorrow. That's not always a bad thing. Sometimes, when you think about, the American work ethic and all that, it would be said that strength is where your motivation should be 24 hours a day. But that's not what I've experienced since I've changed some things in my life. It's definitely a mix of the two, and you need to be nimble and you need to be aware that both are appropriate at different times. So we can discuss that.
Okay. Well, the controversy of the Schadenfreude, the German word. Germans have words for so many things. So yes, Chris does like seeing people get frights. I'm waiting to see that, Chris.
See, for me, it's not so much about, I don't like frights and I don't like giving people frights. Or I don't now, but I did when I was a little kid. But it's deeply satisfying to see karmic justice arrive for someone. I'm sorry.
Schadenfreude. It's a very human word.
Oh, very.
And it has to do with fairness and justice, don't you think? Those are spiritual attributes.
Yes.
It's not animal.
As we think about this, Pamela has said this duality pair is probably the most obvious one yet.
I was going to just mention that. I just saw her write that. Yeah, it's true.
When you were describing, I was thinking about like a modern day example would be going from the Hulk for the strength card to Dr. Xavier with
from the Incredible Hulk series.
Well, Dr. Xavier is like the head of the X-Men.
Oh, well, okay.
He's in the wheelchair, and he basically just uses his mind for everything he needs to do.
Yeah. Well, motivation is something that we all have difficulties with. That's that feeling when it's like 6 a.m. on a Monday morning and you have to go to work and it's raining out and it's cold and you're like, oh, guess I got to play the strength card right now,
Yes.
But then there's other times where, you would employ the hanged man and you hit the snooze button and you sleep for 15 more minutes. Right?
Or you call in and say, I think I'm going to work from home today.
Yeah.
I was playing the hanged man this morning myself.
Yeah, see, it's part of human experience. These are all archetypes of human behavior, and motivations being right in the middle where all the action is like Pamela says, it's obvious. This is something that we all struggle with.
Well, is it really obvious? I'm going to push back on that a little bit. It's obvious in the sense of when we need to have the strength to plow through it. Instead, sometimes there's a need to do nothing is the best answer and to wait, which is the hanged man. Sometimes it's got to be, you've got to pause. Things are not yet finished. You don't fully understand it. I think it's an interesting thing. The balance here, the balance is really important in this. When to take action, when to not take action, that idea of motivation, because that was the reading that we did for me was ended up being the motivation was the issue.
Well, in the Celestine Prophecy books, which I refer to again, they have a theory that if you run into a blockade, that you should stop and look around and see if there's a reason for it.
Mm-hmm.
It could be the universe protecting you.
Yes.
Could be.
It could be the universe protecting you, and it could also be that this simply all the pieces are not yet in place.
Mm-hmm.
So pause and wait and allow things to, I don't know,
fall into place.
And then except that, I mean, I say that, but what actually happens in my life when I come across an obstacle is that I will do my best to look for ways around it. And if those ways around that obstacle don't work, then I say, okay, I get it. This is not for me.
Mm.
But I do try my best to work around the obstacle.
Mm-hmm.
Of course. Pamela shared, so true, Gerald. Sometimes a pause and just stopping is true strength.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Especially when you're dealing with other people, not just situations or projects that you're trying to accomplish or something like that. When you're dealing with other human beings, sometimes when you run into something unpleasant or you discover something about the other person, sometimes it's best just to say, okay, yeah, we're done.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
A cat lady has joined us, and Saint D says, Linda, I really like that.
Thank you,
Yep.
Fari.
What's an interesting thing? Oh, go ahead, Timmy.
I was just going to say that one of the personal issues that I have is that I need to slow down. I'm too fast all the time. I want to go, new. Let's try this new thing. Let's try that new thing. Let's go. Hurry up, and I make mistakes and I hurt my own happiness and productivity because I can't slow down, and I'm playing the strength card, whack, 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 whack all day long, and I have this attitude that that's the only side that's the good side. The pause side is the bad side. That means I'm lazy. That means I'm not paying attention. That means I'm falling asleep. But that's not the case. That's not what the symbol is. The symbol is intentionally having a moment of stillness, I think, of contemplative stillness and observation. And I don't know about the upside down hanging thing. I mean, that symbol is very strong, but I'm not sure exactly why it feels right. But it feels right for that symbol of that side of the duality of motivation.
You said something that the importance of pausing. I had a great conversation yesterday with Jilly from Little Zen Grown,
right,
about the practice of Ongo. We have scheduled a show talking about the sacred pause. Some of you who know Jilly have heard her talk about that. We're going to do that in December, and the importance of the sacred pause. I think with something like this pairing, there has to be a balance in the active side. There has to be a pause, and in the pause side, there has to be action. There, because it's not just one or the other. It's just not the two. I think there's 4 different aspects to this, honestly.
Well, I mean, yeah, like we said before, each of the cards has their own dualities contained inside them.
Mm-hmm. And this one, for me, that their own duality in the pairs is very apparent to me.
Yeah.
Because, Pamela said, I'm a strength and star soul cards. Any other 817 people here?
I haven't heard of that before, so I don't know.
I have, but I'm not. Yeah. I'm an 18-9.
I'm not sure
which. What do the numbers mean?
Which calculation consists of the soul card?
The Mary K. Greer, Tarot for Yourself. This is not that deck or not that book, but Mary K. Greer talks about that. The soul card, you have a soul card, which is your base card, and your life path card, which is if it's a double number. Soul card is 8 in this. The life path is the 17. You relate that to tarot. 17 is the star.
Well, I have an 8 life path.
So do I.
And is it just 8, or does it reduce to a 17-8?
Not mine.
Okay. What I think is so. I also like to think. Remember, this is Marseille, everybody. Strength is 11, and the Hanged Man is 12, or the Hanged One. When you are thinking of strength in the traditional tarot, when you think about strength, regardless of where it falls, what are the key words that come up for you with strength? I'm also going to ask you, what are the key words that come up for you when you look at the Hanged Man?
For strength, what comes up for me is trust.
Mm-hmm.
There has to be a lot of trust between, and I'm just speaking strictly of the symbology on the card. And again, RWS or their clones, not Marseille, because this is my first encounter with Marseille. But yeah, there has to be a lot of trust both on the part of the lion and the woman.
Mm-hmm.
Like life trust. Like, I trust you with all the money I have. I trust you with my life. I trust you to be the signer on my medical POA, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, it has to be that deep heart-to-heart trust to exist between those two in order to create that image.
I also think of the word respect. There's a lot of respect when it comes to the strength card, in particular because this image.
My word is self-control.
That's a good one.
I see confidence and maybe some stubbornness.
I'm sorry
and
for
physical
interrupting
strength,
you,
physical health.
Timmy.
Sorry, Maru, what'd you say?
I said I'm sorry for interrupting Gerald. I think he had more to say.
No, this is brilliant. I like that self-control. What did you say, Timmy?
Confidence, physical health, and stubbornness. I think there's a stubbornness to great strength sometimes where it becomes a habit and it sort of rolls over you a little bit. And then sometimes it's a little thoughtless, and that's when you get to the extreme side of the duality. That's when it starts becoming negative, I think, when there's no thoughtful motivation behind it.
So you say stubborn, but do you mean endurance?
I think it's a fine line, don't you think? When it's toward the middle, it's endurance, but when it's toward the end, it's a negative, a stubbornness, a negative thing. I mean, have you ever seen that phenomenon? I've done it myself, where I've worked at a job that stinks, that sucks, and it's hurting me, but I'm just like, I got things to do, and this place is a mess, and I need to go in there and fix it, and that's when you go from, confident endurance to robotic stubbornness. It becomes a negative.
I think one of the things also associated with the strength card for me is the idea of perseverance. It goes back to what you were, the stubbornness, perseverance. Sometimes strength loses the perspective that the one thing that they've globbed onto that makes a situation survivable is different, because they don't always take a step back and see how the situation has changed.
Yes.
And linking that, I mean, that flows beautifully into the Hanged Man, the Hanged One, because you have a different perspective.
Literally 180 degrees, right?
180
upside
degrees.
down.
Yes. Chris has shared strength equals confidence, fortitude, wisdom regarding how to use your strength. Don't swat a fly with a sledgehammer, but don't swat a feather either, is my phrase for the strength card. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very perceptive.
I can see how persistence would work into it, because once you close the lion's mouth, you can't let go of it.
Yeah. I mean, there's skill involved with strength, I would think, skill and experience. I mean, it's very important, attribute to have. It's really the motivating force forward, but it can't all be motivating force forward. And I think that in American culture, at least, there's a lot of imbalance in people's behavior because they're taught to cling to the strength card and avoid the Hanged Man.
Well, I don't, man up, don't cry, boys don't cry. That shit
Bootstraps.
doesn't serve anybody. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
That's all strength card. That's like saying, I've had that request in job situations where it's like, you need to accomplish X, Y, Z. And it's like, there's no way we're going to accomplish X, Y, Z. And they're like, just make it happen. And that's the strength card being played when there's nothing behind it. It's just pushing forward no matter what, regardless of the circumstances. And that's unhealthy.
Yes. So what about the Hanged Man or the Hanged card? What are some of the words you think about for that? And for those of you who are watching, please please type in your stuff if you'd like.
he looks so serene to me.
I'd say meditation.
Yeah.
Definitely observation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
His eyes are open.
Patient.
But 180 degrees out of sync with everybody else, upside down. I think, that's one of the techniques I use when I'm trying to figure something out is sometimes I do it backwards just to see, from finish to beginning, go that way. And maybe that's what the Hangman is symbolizing, a complete 180 degree reversal with observation to sort of, gain some contextual truth and get to a deeper truth.
Yeah. Like, what if I said no?
Mm-hmm.
What would happen if I said, this is a ridiculous request? There is no way that this can be accomplished
Mm-hmm.
unless you throw, this amount of money, this amount of people. This is what it will take to accomplish this goal in this amount of time. If you can't provide that, I'm out. See ya.
So saying no is the wisdom of the Hanged Man, perhaps.
Perhaps, but I just use that as an example of what happens when you turn things 180 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying no and walking away is an option. It's always an option.
Saying no is also part of the strength card.
Well, that's true.
Nancy shared a gentle strength pauses before action.
Yeah, that
I
works.
agree with you.
Yeah.
Pamela shared, I also see strength as making peace with shadow self or inner child, making peace in order to work together and find integration.
God bless you, Pamela Batchelor, forever and ever, from the bottom of my heart for saying that. That is something I've always seen in the strength card, is that the trust and the growth and the belief in being able to work together.
Mm-hmm. Pamela has shared Hanged Man. I always think of seeing the paradigm and finding that awareness.
Yeah.
Yeah, taking a step back, going 30,000 feet above and looking down at the big picture.
Yeah.
That's a Hangman move.
Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Krista
How high are you hanging?
Yes. How high?
30,000 feet.
Yes. How are you hung?
30,000.
Are you a well-hanged man?
Well, but the Hanged Man isn't it based on the story of Odin?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really? Let me hear that. I've never heard that.
Maru, I'm going to look at you. Do you know the story of Odin better than me?
I'm sure she
Well,
does.
Yes,
I mean, I know that he desired wisdom, and so he hung himself from the tree and lost an eye in the process. And the runes were given to him as a reward for his sacrifice.
Sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's interesting, Maruda, because how does that figure in the Hanged Man card, like in the symbol of the Hanged
It could
Man?
also represent Christ as being hanged on the cross as a sacrifice.
True.
Indeed.
Yeah, sometimes leaving yourself behind while the other group continues on is the right choice, you know, and that can be considered a sacrifice.
Hmm.
That could be the hangman as well.
And yes, of course, Maruta knows. Duh.
That's why she's on the Fab Four.
Yes. It's the Duality Girl and the Fab Four, brought to you by,
It's
of
Duality
course,
Girl.
Maruta already knows. Chris did say Hanged Man, perspective, delay, sacrifice, the sacred time out. LOL. The fool has been sent to his room to think about what he's done. That's I am a big fan of that image.
As
fool
the
check.
fool is jumping off of the cliff, someone has snagged his ankle and he's now dangling.
Upside down,
Yes.
thinking about his mistake.
Mhm.
Thinking about looking before I jump off or
Yeah,
step
yeah.
away.
You know, when we
Saskia is here. And yeah,
Oh,
Pamela loves you too. It's just, yeah, big fan.
Purple Heart.
Go ahead. What were you saying?
When Gerald, when we did a duality card read on you that one time, it turned out that it was motivation.
Yep.
Was where you were stuck, where you were,
Yes.
your balance was off.
Mhm.
But we were, well, when we discussed it, we weren't sure at the beginning whether it was decision making that was the snag, or if it was
Yes.
your motivation that was the snag. And strangely enough, it was like upside down. You'd already made the decision to do the thing
I was just
that
waiting
you
too
were
long to do it.
asking about, but you just didn't want to do it.
Mhm.
You were waiting one more day. You were in perpetual hanged man mode. And
Mhm.
that's why you felt a compulsion to make a decision, like this wasn't working for you anymore.
Yes.
And you were being the hanged man because that was the easier path, but it wasn't the correct path for you. And it became more and more evident as time went on, right?
Yes.
Knowing the difference between motivations and decisions.
Very important. And when does patience become harder than actually doing the work?
oh God. Yes.
That's when we start making decisions when we're forced to. But wouldn't it be nicer if we could recognize the situation before it got to that
When
point?
patience becomes procrastination.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's human nature. It's human nature.
Well, we don't like doing tough things, do we? We don't like saying things to people that they may find unpleasant, okay? Because relationships are important and we don't want to hurt the relationships we have. God knows they're hard. Like it's hard to be in relationship with the people around us, and we don't want to damage that mostly.
Mhm.
And so of course we are absolutely reluctant, shall I say.
And that's a kind thing.
Yeah. We're reluctant to move. We're reluctant to do tough things because they're not just tough for us. They'll be tough for the people around us, probably. I mean, depending, like, depending on
Yeah.
who you have around you, the impact, there will be an impact.
Mhm.
So,
Yes. Pamela did remind us Odin did put himself into that position in order to receive magical knowledge.
yeah. And that's why he gave up his eye.
Mhm. More people have joined us. It's great to see everyone. Thank you for joining us in the conversation about duality pairs. Well, duality pairs, not just in the Marseille. We're using the Marseille as the setup. And
Historically, I think these pairs came from this set.
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, they fit very well.
Mm-hmm.
I think previous to the Renaissance, the decks were a little more variable. You know, the symbols that were used. I think this deck, the Marseille deck during the Renaissance, was the one that's. I think there was a lot of people involved in this project, and it was quite extensive and well presented and thought out.
If we think about the major arcana as a progression, we've done pairs 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Go watch the playlist. When we're in the 6th duality, strength is there. You have to have strength in order to hang upside down. You have to have strength in order to get that perspective change. As Nancy had mentioned, you have to be able to have the strength to pause long enough to make a more informed decision.
It's one of your tools. Strength is a tool, and then the Hanged Man is a tool.
Mm-hmm.
And being aware of both of those tools are available to you at any time allows you to navigate through life more successfully and with having a happier life. You know, you have less problems in your life when you realize you can say no, you know, or you realize you can say no and say, I'm moving forward anyway. It goes both ways.
Yeah.
And that's the fascination that I have with these dualities is they're so informative about my own behavior. And you know, part of the perspective of the cards, I mean, they're very egalitarian and they're very cooperate with the universe sort of designed in the feel. But I think that there is, at its fundamental level, it's a perspective of you. It's your behavior and how you deal with the rest of the world, rest of existence. You know, there's a comforting aspect to this where it's very informed, I think, as far as interpreting your own behavior, your own motivations for things. And one of the comforting aspects of it is this is for you. You know, this is like the human owner's manual, a unique. It's for you. You know, that's one thing I used to always complain about when I would make mistakes. I'm like, you know, I was born and nobody handed me an owner's manual. Like, what do I do when there's a death in my family? I should turn to page 178 on the chapter on deaths in the family and figure out what I'm supposed to do. But there is no manual of human behavior. But something like this is close, I think. You know, it gives you informed.
I mean, there are several, but you'd have to have a doctorate, you know, and all that.
Yeah. But I think
you have to spend your life studying all of that, and so when would you be living it?
And also, what you're saying to me is there is this balance of wanting that manual and having life experiences. Stuff that you see in a book doesn't mean anything truly until you learn how to apply that or do that situation.
Right. That's what Linda was saying. You know, you can understand it in your head, but actually employing it in your own life is more difficult than you would think.
Yes.
Have you ever gotten annoyed by someone trying to tell you how to do something when you feel like you already know?
Are you speaking of mansplaining, Maruda?
Well, momsplaining for me mostly.
Momsplaining. Yeah.
Hi, Mom.
Yes.
By the way.
Yes.
Mom's. Yeah, she's watching from heaven.
But yeah, it those kinds of things like learning the value of pausing before taking action took me a long time to learn, you know, because my nature is to just push ahead and go on to the, well, much like you were describing, Timmy, is just to, oh, look at this shiny new thing. Okay, let's learn about that. And let's do this and let's do that. And then just, you know, yeah, it took me a while to learn to pause and think and be I can't remember the word right now. I don't mean discriminatory, but something's discernment. Thank you. Thank you. Discerning.
Mhm.
To learn discernment took me, I think, a lot longer than it takes most people.
Hey, you learned it. That's a
Eventually,
good
yeah.
thing.
Eventually.
I also think, this idea of having someone explain to you how to do something, even though you didn't ask.
And you
This
already
goes,
know.
yeah, and you already know. It goes back to this idea of stubbornness and the pause. If you want to build good relationships, you pause to understand what is going on, not to listen to answer. You listen to understand with a depth. When we listen, that brings us closer into the center, I think, to where, I can, if Maru and I were sitting and having a conversation and she's worried about something, I'm listening. I then can go, this is a lot. Or then I can say, do you need advice, or are you wanting me to support you and to give you feedback on what you're going to do?
And
There's
even asking that question is like being a hanged man.
Mhm.
You're waiting for an answer.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. That's right.
Mhm.
That pregnant pause.
Yes. Yes. Chris shared something. He said, in what ways do you folks see the strength and hanged man opposing each other, or representing the opposite half of the other?
Well, I think they represent the opposite halves of motivation. The hanged man is motivation. Strength is active motivation. So
Mhm.
motivation is the primal word, and then the strength and the hangman define that primal word
Mm-hmm.
by illustrating extremes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it's the same pattern with all the other dualities too. They're all exactly the same. They
Yeah.
illustrate the extremes of a duality that defines our personality. And there's 10 of them. This one's number 6.
Mhm. Linda, you had a bit of a moment there.
Oh, it just sort of fell into my head and fit.
I always like
Yeah.
that when that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maru, what do you think about this? Do you see them opposing or representing opposites of the half?
Well, I mean, strength is active and the hanged man is passive, and that's kind of the most obvious opposite for me.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, like, that's how I always saw that too, except that what Timmy said just made it, yeah, but they're active and passive of motivation. That's what sank into my consciousness.
That's been the hardest part of this, is coming up with modern labels that match the old labels that that in 21st century language communicate the concept. And Linda, you just understood it right there. It's motivation, and it has two sides to it,
Yeah.
passive and active. And that was a learning moment for me. I always thought motivation was only active. It's like, get your ass out of bed, motivate yourself. Having the hanged man as passive motivation being as equally should be as equally used as a tool as the strength was news to me. I mean, that was that's like giving yourself permission to give yourself a break, because you don't have to continue forging through and into a situation that's not working for you. You
I
need
think
to
it's about
have
understanding power.
the hanged man as an option to stop that. Otherwise, you just go off the cliff every time.
Yeah.
You just walk yourself right off the cliff.
Yeah.
Pamela said yes to me. The word motivation is really attached here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will be very upfront with you. I never have considered strength in the Hanged Man as a duality. I never did that before we're having this conversation. I'm still getting my head around it. I can definitely see what is being shared.
I think the brilliance of this is that the previous interpretations that you had of those two cards are all still valid. But this is a structure, an interpretive structure that's built into the cards, I believe. And it gives you a whole different perspective. It's a whole new machine of seeing human behavior. You know, what we were used to is that linear sort of progression, you know, card 1 through 20. And you know, there's a lot of history of people interpreting things as, you know, the path of life, you know, the fool's journey, you know, through all these different archetypes. And that's completely valid. But if you put them into pairs, that shows you a whole nother different perspective of the way of looking at human behavior.
I love it. Me too.
And it's hidden in the open. And I love that. That seems so Renaissance, doesn't it? So
yeah, it does.
This is the Florentine Empire. This was Lorenzo the Great. He was the Doge of Venice. You know, this was the, what was the guy that did The Prince? The guy that wrote the book, The Prince?
Machiavelli.
This is the time of Machiavelli. And I think this is an interpretive structure that was very valuable to people that were successful, you know, like merchants that were successful. These are behaviors that help you negotiate deals. You know, these are areas and pitfalls that you should watch out for, you know, like the strength card and the Hanged Man in a business deal. Sometimes doing nothing and waiting another day is the success move, right?
Yes. Well, that does go back to the idea of when you have a population who cannot read, stained glass was a way to educate them visually.
Yeah.
So, Pamela answered Chris and said, Chris, strength and Hanged Man opposing each other or working in tandem or two ways to face challenges.
Yep.
Jane the Seeker Tarot has arrived, who
Hi, Jane.
I will be seeing Jane in a couple of hours. Leah said the Hanged Man can always can get down whenever he wants.
Yep.
And the Hanged Man teaches me to surrender. There's strength in that, which goes to what Nancy says. I don't necessarily see the Hanged Man as passive. It is commitment to allow the possibility of change and renewal.
It's as committed as strength is. It's a different type of commitment.
Reminds me of what I was thinking. The strength card is control over your animal nature and tendencies, and the Hanged Man card is control over your mental and spiritual capacity.
I could see that. Sometimes the pairs split up that way, where one's the more spiritual side of the duality, and the other is the more, biological, physical side of the duality.
I like that, Maru.
Like the Chariot and Justice. Justice is the more spiritual card. The Chariot is the more earth, physical
material
card. Material card.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The Fool's Journey and the Hero's Journey. Oh yeah.
That's Chris, what the major arcana is. I think.
Stay tuned. I'm working on that.
Oh, really? What are you up to, Gerald?
Nothing.
Nothing to see here.
This is not the. Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, right. These are not the droids you are looking for.
These are not the droids you're looking for. These are not the droids you're looking for. Sorry.
What did you say? I just blanked out. What did you say?
Chris said, "Same, Gerald. I see the Magician, High Priestess, Empress, Emperor, Hierophant, Lovers as three obvious dual opposing pairs, but after that, I start to struggle." And I'm loving this discussion. It's a good discussion. Can we take a moment to appreciate how effing fabulous Nancy's spectacles are in her profile picture.
They're
Why,
always
yes,
spectacular.
Agreed.
yes,
Mm.
yes, we can.
Red. It's very, very assertive. I like that. in a
And
woman.
they're effing fabulous.
Like the color of the lion.
Oh,
Mm.
oh, look, Maru's circling back.
So what do you
sure.
think Linda
Yes.
mentioned it for a moment. What do you think the significance of the animal creature in the strength card? Because it changes a lot. I mean, in the Marseille, it's sort of a wolfy, sort of doggish looking thing. But in other
I
cards,
think
it's
that's
way
just the
different.
medieval interpretation of a lion.
That's
You
a
think
lion,
so?
you think?
I don't know.
I
There's
think-
other medieval interpretations that are more accurate to how a lion actually looks. And if this deck came from Italy, the Italians were especially Renaissance Italians, are absolutely familiar with North African lions because they had been used by the Romans so much. So
I'm putting that up there to help people see it.
So to me, this isn't. I don't know. They knew what lions looked like. The Renaissance Italians absolutely freaking knew what a lion looked like. I think that is for this is just me. I think that is a hunting mastiff.
It does appear to be more of a dog.
Yeah, the jaw and the head and the size and the shape of the head and everything else. Yeah, no, this is to me, this is a hunting dog, probably a mastiff because it's like, waist high, for crying out loud. It's a huge dog. And those were very popular in the courts of Renaissance nobles. This was a very popular pastime, hunting and falconing, hawking. And all through European nobility, this was all ways to get food on the table. Also, they made it high class and put sparkles on it and glitter. So, yeah, to me, that's a hunting dog.
Well, if it's a hunting dog, then maybe the person is just grabbing it so the dog doesn't eat what it is just hunted.
Exactly. And if you imagine that what that person is doing is opening the mouth to get the wolfhound, or another mastiff, but anyway, to get the bird out of its jaws, to train it to let go, because dogs have to be trained to let go of their catch,
Yes,
of their prey. So is this, I'm asking the question, I don't know, this is just flipping through my head. Are they being trained to let go of their prey on command? Yeah.
Do you think it could be
how
a
does
symbol?
that affect the interpretation of the strength card? But it still applies to trust still applies.
Mm-hmm.
And integration still applies, as Pamela mentioned earlier. The integration into a team, okay, training the dog to become part of a hunting team, that still applies.
Well, how about if it was, I was thinking that maybe it's imposing your will upon nature, something like that, imposing manifestation upon nature.
Yeah. And cooperating or training nature to cooperate with you.
And it's a terrestrial physical sort of
absolutely.
strength.
Yeah. It's absolutely getting what you want from the world around you.
And then, like Maru said, maybe the hanged man is more, intellectual, spiritual strength.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think that might be what that symbol means in the strength card.
And this is from a woman who said she didn't have anything to give because the late night show took too much out of her.
And it was late night, my ass. I was in bed by 11.
We're all delivering gems of wisdom, all four of us. We were all we're for the
And
Well,
show.
Can I just point out that Angie Brooks just said
Thank you.
something really interesting to me? She says, actually, it sounds and seems more like they trained the animals to be submissive instead of the humans being submissive. Well, yes, exactly. This card is the animals being submissive. This hanged man is the humans submitting to the pause, to be able to get a different perspective, to allow themselves to this individual is allowing themselves to be hanged and immobilized essentially by the ankles or by the foot or whatever it is, and immobilized in order to gain whatever insight or observation of the environment. So yes, Angie, exactly. And also this wow, I don't know, this all this stuff is falling into my head all of a sudden. The thing about the strength card, okay, like the lion versus a dog, it's more meaningful to me thinking of it like now that I've just spewed all of that. It's more meaningful to me now that I think of it as a dog, because that's much more symbolic of the kind of partnership between the human and the natural world than a lion. Like in our experience,
It
lions
co-evolved with us.
Exactly. They have nothing to do with us. They're wild animals off in the desert or wherever in Africa. They have nothing to do with us, but we know dogs. Most of us have dogs in our homes. We know about prying open a dog's jaw to get that soft toy or whatever it is out of it.
So maybe it's a symbol of willing submission. Both of them. The hanged man is willing submission, and the symbol of the dog obeying is a sign of willing submission and productive submission. Probably
it is
symbiosis.
It's a very symbiotic relationship. You need to have dogs are pack animals.
Yes,
have an order and a hierarchy.
I think they may have switched to a lion later because it was more sensational strength.
I agree. I think you're absolutely right there, Maruta.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And each needs the other. I mean, the human needs the dog to provide food, and the dog needs the pack to belong and a job to do. Dogs need a job to do. They're not happy if they don't have a job to do.
They do need they absolutely need a job to do.
Yeah.
I like how the idea of this dog and what goes back to what Maru said with the control over the animal nature.
Yeah.
As then matching the control over the intellectual and the spiritual aspect. That's a fascinating layer for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a Maruta moment. So the dog is being submissive to the woman in the strength card, but who is the hanged man being submissive to?
Himself.
Or the higher power, or nature itself. The unified intellect that we all draw our spiritual intellect from. And like you said, and then that winds back to yourself. We're being submissive to our own needs, because at that moment in time, we need to take a pause.
Oh.
Are you talking about this that Chris just put up?
Yes.
Who was the first to make it an obvious lion? Was it Pixie? Could it have been to make it more Leo, since they switched the card to go in order of the zodiac correspondence?
That makes sense.
That makes perfect sense. Yeah.
I think so. I think you're right.
That brought me chills, Chris. That was brilliant. Freaking brilliant. I got big chills still.
Yeah, and they switched the strength and the what was it?
Judgment.
Strength and judgment. Yeah, they switched those two cards for astrology.
Or was it justice? I'm sorry.
Justice.
Yeah, judgment comes at the end.
Yeah, right. Justice. And
of course.
I'm leaving this up there, Timmy, because you're going to want to note this in your book, which stay tuned. There is a book coming. Every time we're together, I'm mentioning it so the dude gets to work and balances his sixth duality of his motivations to be able to do that. So,
right.
Then so there's
and we're going to do some duality card draws. We're going to do some duality readings at the end.
We are.
Are we? Oh, cool.
And, you know, I have some an announcement about that.
What?
Do we have time?
Yeah.
For the last 3 months, I've been doing card draws, like duality card draws for myself, self reads. And I tried an experiment a couple days ago doing like a reverse one. Like I was saying, like I like to do things backwards sometimes. Because I lay the cards down when I do a duality card reading exactly the same way every time. And I have like things very put together. That's just sort of my personality, I guess. So it's a little bit ritualized. And then I was thinking, what would happen if I laid the cards down backwards? And I was like, what would that be like? And then I was just thinking of the physics of it. Like, what would be the first ones? And it would be the number cards. And then, you know, and I came up with the whole thing. And then when I got up to the end, which was actually the beginning where the duality is chosen, the way I've been doing the reads is they're answering a specific question. You know, that's how it works. It's not 100% divinatory. It's you decide, the reader and the querent decide which duality is appropriate for the card draw, and then you do the card draw, and then that gives you suggestions for you know, balanced behavior. But when I did it the backwards way, I was like, well, how would that work? You know, how would I get the card draw for the duality? And I thought, well, why don't I split the 20 major arcana into two sides? You know, like duality one, there's one is the magician, two is the high priestess. So I put the magician card in one stack and the high priestess in the other stack. So all the even cards go in one stack and all the odd cards go in the other stack. And then you randomize those by shuffling them. And then you choose which stack to go from in some random way. And then that gives you a duality. And the rest of the cards are related to, you know, that card draw. It's something that I've been doing for the last few days, and I just keep doing it. And it works that way too. It's just, it has that same impact, because I think what it does is, even though it's fully divinatory and all the cards are drawn for you, it still says you have an imbalance in decision making. And then it gives you a context. And then you look at the context and you start making connections and you start thinking in different ways. And it works the same way. It stirs you to think about this issue that you weren't even thinking about. It was prompted by the cards, you know, an imbalance. For when I did it, it was an imbalance in decision making. I drew the death card, you know, and that's opposed by the temperance card. So what that was saying is that I was pointed towards decisions that are too quick, too impulsive. And then down in the number cards, which were the archetypes of circumstance, you have, you know, the circumstance that's now, that's the middle card. And then to the right, you have the future, the two future cards. And those cards are related to the imbalance. And it just stirred up an entire dialogue in my head. An entire story came out from it. And it works that way too. So I think the first way I was doing it is an expressive duality draw. And then the second way it would do it, which is completely divinatory, is a receptive draw.
Ooh.
Well, how about that?
It's amazing. It works the other way too.
Pretty good.
Well, of course it would, because the universe is whole.
You know, I truly believe that all of these things are inside of us already, and that we are blocking truth from recognizing it ourselves. And I think the way these cards are designed, it's designed to make you think about your own behavior, you know?
For insight, yeah.
And I will balance that with the duality of ideas. Is sometimes it's not that. Sometimes it's not a divinatory thing. Sometimes it is just a cigar.
Yeah.
Sometimes
it's just
it's
a card.
just an image on a piece of paper. There's the beauty in being human, where we can look at things. We can have this duality. I also think what you're saying is you're laying the cards out differently. There's a lot of power in that. How do you know when to draw, how to lay them out that way? I think it's fascinating.
And when I was splitting the decks up at the deck up at the first time, I was like, well, how am I going to do this where it's random? Like how's the duality chosen randomly? And I thought, well, I'll split them, in two. Like, the left card goes in one stack and the right card of the duality goes in the other stack. And as I was doing it numerically, I'm like, oh, all the odd cards go in one stack and all the even cards go in the other stack. And then that brings up whole more different thoughts of the elegance of this system, Once I had that in my head, I was like, oh, easy to split them up. All the even ones on this side and all the odd ones on that one. And then it's really amazing. It's really, this is endlessly fascinating, this whole entire discussion.
I like this. We are at just over an hour. I want to thank everybody who is watching for joining us. Next week, we are back with duality, the 7th duality. And I think that's pretty freaking brilliant. Linda, where are you later today and the rest of the week?
At 2:00 Pacific, 5:00 Eastern, I will be hosting Akashic Adventures with the amazing and stellar fellow readers, Viviani Heller and Diana Bowles. And both Viviani and I I'm hosting, but Viviani's simulcasting. And then hold on for a second. I don't keep that stuff in my head. I write it down because my head's pretty small these days.
This is a brilliant opportunity for everyone to subscribe to everybody's channels. Linda and I both do private readings. Maru, you up for private reading if people contact you?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Links in the description, everyone.
Links in the description, as are ways to show your support for each of us if you so choose.
Yeah. On Wednesday at 5, I have the great honor of participating in the launch of a new series on a new channel, newish channel, well, within a year. Sarah's Hibiscus Healings has invited me to participate in the Lightworkers Lounge, the first episode, with Diane and Donna Marie. So that should be fun. It's not a readings show. We'll be discussing what are the Akashic records and stuff around the Akashic records, and also ethics. So those of you who are interested in ethics might want to catch that. And that's at 5:00 Pacific, 8:00 Eastern. Thursday, my guest on Wings of Insight at 2:00 Pacific is Akila.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Cool. Maru, any plans for pop-up, or are you joining Stephen again?
Well, I just do whatever happens at the moment. My social butterfly tendencies.
They run hot and cold. You got to wait for the moment.
Right.
Got to wait for the moment and send her an email or text. Hey, Timmy, did your lights just come on or something in the background?
The shade of the window is partially open and there's wind blowing the shade back and forth. And it lets
because all of a sudden I was like going, oh.
Yeah, you see, it's doing it now. It's really windy. The electric went out earlier because trees are coming down.
Oh, okay.
Oh boy.
Timmy, what do you have coming up?
Well, next Tuesday at this time, we have duality number 7, decision making. 2 p.m. Tuesdays for the next 4 weeks, I think. That will be 7, 8, 9, and 10. And on Saturday, live in Harford County, Maryland, we're having another AA meditation meeting where I'm doing a live hosted meditation. I'm doing the breathing exercises with the Tibetan gong, and we had 30 people last Saturday, two weeks back. I'm up again this Saturday, and that's been really interesting. I've been using the the meditation audio track from my meditation videos on my YouTube channel,
Mhm.
and we're using them live in a group meditation setting. It's been great.
That
I
sounds
love
really
you.
cool.
I love
It
that.
is, yeah.
In about 15 minutes, it is a channel takeover. Jane the Secret Tarot and Jamie Wandering Mountain Bark Path are having a deck casual for a deck that I do not own.
I don't believe that there's any deck
will
that
you
you
do?
don't own, but whatever.
This is one of them. I don't have the balls to have this one, and you have to watch that live in order to understand the humor in that. I have 2 shows tomorrow. I am talking to Orshi about the Ink Drop Tarot, doing a deck
Ooh.
casual with that.
Cool.
And then it's Light Language episode 24, where it's activation part 2. So
Okay.
I think this will be wonderful. Other stuff coming up. Like and subscribe. Thank you, Nancy. I've enjoyed this discussion very much. Thank you, Fab4.
I like where the Fab Four now.
Thanks for
That's
being
cool.
here, everybody.
Yes,
Yeah.
and thank you for the weekly discussion. It's
Yeah.
always wonderful to be here. Yeah, and sooner or later we're going to be out of the duality pairs. Then we'll have to do a reading or 2.
We can do receptive readings off of the chat. All we need is a querent. That's it.
All we need is a guinea pig. I'm sorry. All we need is someone willing to be the
Sacrificial lamb.
Mhm.
yes. Again, thank you, everyone. Links to all of our channels below, as well as ways to show your support for all of us. Take care, everyone. Bye.